You know, there's something rather fascinating about the person who lets their birthday pass without ceremony. While the rest of the world seems obsessed with celebrating the day they emerged from the womb, marking it with cakes and candles and carefully curated social media posts, you simply let it go by. Another Tuesday, another Thursday, nothing special. And people think there's something wrong with you for this, don't they? They assume you must be depressed, antisocial, or suffering from some kind of self-esteem deficit. How can you not celebrate your birthday? They ask, as if failing to commemorate the accident of your birth makes you somehow broken or incomplete. But what if I told you that your indifference to birthdays reveals something far more profound than mere cynicism or melancholy? What if the person who treats their birthday like any other day has actually stumbled upon one of the deepest truths about existence itself? Let me explain. Every culture has its rituals around birth anniversaries, and they all share a common assumption that this particular day, the day you happen to exit your mother's body, is somehow more significant than any other day. We've created an entire industry around this belief. Cards, parties, gifts, restaurant songs sung by underpaid waiters who wish they were anywhere else. But think about what we're actually celebrating. We're marking the moment when you, as a separate individual, supposedly began, the day you became you, the starting point of your personal story. And this, my friends, is where the confusion begins. Because you didn't actually begin on your birthday. The sperm and egg that created you existed before that day. The atoms that compose your body are billions of years old, forged in the hearts of dying stars. The consciousness that you call you doesn't have a starting point that can be marked on a calendar. You are not a noun. You're a verb. You're not a thing that was born. You're a process that's been happening for eternity. Your birthday doesn't mark the beginning of you. It marks an arbitrary point in an ongoing transformation that has no beginning and no end. You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe doing its thing, and that thing has been going on long before your particular body configuration showed up. Now, the person who treats their birthday like a normal day hasn't necessarily thought all this through philosophically, but somewhere deep in their bones, they sense it. They sense that making a big fuss over this one particular day is a kind of cosmic joke. It's taking the illusion of separation way too seriously. When you don't celebrate your birthday, you're not saying that life isn't worth celebrating. You're saying that every day is equally miraculous. You're refusing to participate in the collective delusion that some days matter more than others based on arbitrary human conventions. Think about it. Why is the day you were born more significant than the day you first laughed? The day you first understood that you would die? The day you fell in love? The day you sat by a river and suddenly understood that you and the river were the same thing? We've been taught to celebrate the wrong milestones. We mark the dates that society tells us matter while ignoring the moments when we actually became more conscious, more alive, more real. But there's another dimension to this birthday business that nobody talks about. For many people, birthdays aren't celebrations at all. They're performances, obligations. A day when you must gather evidence that you are loved, that you matter, that your existence registers on other people's radar. And this is absolutely exhausting. I once knew a woman who dreaded her birthday every year. Not because she was getting older that didn't bother her particularly. She dreaded it because she felt she was supposed to feel special on that day, and she never did. She would wake up expecting some kind of magical shift in consciousness, some validation from the universe that yes, you are significant, your birth mattered, and of course it never came. The day felt exactly like every other day, except with the added pressure of pretending it didn't. She would post photos of whatever small celebration she managed to arrange, smiling for the camera while feeling utterly empty inside. She would count the birthday messages on social media like a desperate accountant, each happy birthday, adding up to some imaginary total that would prove she was worthy of taking up space on this planet. And then one year, she simply stopped. She didn't announce it. She didn't make a statement. She just let her birthday pass, without ceremony. No posts, no party, no performance. just another day. And you know what happened? Nothing terrible. The earth kept spinning. Her friendships didn't collapse. Life continued exactly as before, except for one crucial difference. She felt free. Free from the exhausting task of manufacturing significance on command. Free from the anxiety of whether enough people would remember, whether enough people would care. Free from the pressure to feel something she didn't genuinely feel. This is what the person who ignores their birthday understands, consciously or not, that authentic significance doesn't come from external validation. It doesn't come from annual performances of mattering. It comes from being present to the actual miracle of existence, which is happening right now, birthday or not. There's something else going on with birthdays, something darker that we rarely acknowledge. Birthdays are how society keeps score of your progress toward death. They're markers on the timeline, little reminders that you're using up your allotted time, that you'd better hurry up and accomplish something before the clock runs out. Every birthday comes with its unspoken expectations. By 30, you should have achieved this. By 40, you should have accomplished that. By 50, you should have become someone worth being. And if you haven't, well, the birthday becomes a day of reckoning, a reminder of all the ways you failed to live up to the story you were supposed to be writing. The person who treats their birthday like a normal day is refusing to participate in this morbid accounting. They're saying, consciously or not, that their worth is not measured by how many trips they've made around the sun, that their value doesn't diminish with age or increase with youth, that they are not in a race with time. This is revolutionary, actually. In a culture obsessed with productivity and achievement, with making your mark and leaving a legacy, the person who shrugs at their birthday is committing a small act of rebellion. They're stepping out of the timeline, refusing to be measured against arbitrary standards of progress and accomplishment. Here's the beautiful paradox. The moment you stop trying to make yourself significant, you become significant. The moment you stop performing importance, you become important. Not important in the social media sense, not important in the legacy building sense, but important in the only way that actually matters as a unique expression of the universe experiencing itself. You don't need a birthday to validate your existence because your existence validates itself simply by being. Every breath you take is a miracle. Every moment of consciousness is extraordinary. Every second you're alive, you're participating in the most mysterious and improbable event in the cosmos, matter becoming aware of itself. But we've forgotten this. We've become so desperate for significance that we miss the significance that's already here. We mark our birthdays with cakes and candles, trying to manufacture specialness, while the actual miracle, the fact that we exist at all, goes completely unnoticed. The person who ignores their birthday hasn't necessarily figured all this out intellectually, but they've sensed it. They've intuited that there's something false about the whole birthday performance. They'd rather have an honest Tuesday than a fake celebration. Of course, society doesn't like this. When you refuse to celebrate your birthday, you're breaking an unspoken social contract. You're supposed to participate in the collective illusion that personal significance comes from external recognition and annual rituals. People will accuse you of being difficult, depressed, or attention-seeking through deliberate neglect. They'll tell you you're missing out, that you're being ungrateful for the gift of life. They might even get angry, as if your refusal to celebrate somehow diminishes their own celebrations. But this reaction tells us something important. When your authenticity triggers others, it's usually because you're exposing something they don't want to see. Your contentment without birthday fanfare makes them question their own need for it. Your ability to find significance in ordinary moments threatens their belief that significance must be manufactured, performed, and validated by others. So, what does it mean to truly honor your existence without the birthday circus? It means recognizing that every day you wake up is the day you were born. Every morning is a rebirth. Every moment is the beginning of the rest of your life, not just some abstract future, but right now, in this breath, in this heartbeat. It means understanding that you are not getting older in the linear sense we imagine. You're not moving from birth toward death. You're constantly dying and being reborn in every moment. The cells in your body replace themselves. Your thoughts come and go. Your very sense of self is reconstructed second by second. You are always the same age. Now, the person who treats their birthday like a normal day has discovered something that people who make a big fuss never learn. That the extraordinary is hidden in the ordinary. That the sacred is found in the mundane. That celebration isn't something you schedule once a year. It's a way of moving through life, of paying attention, of being present to the miracle that's always happening. There's a beautiful freedom in not needing to be special, in not requiring external validation of your existence, in not performing significance for an audience that's mostly distracted by their own performances anyway. When you let go of the need to make your birthday meaningful, you discover that all days are meaningful. When you stop trying to prove you matter, you realize you've always mattered. When you quit the exhausting performance of being someone worth celebrating, you finally become yourself. And yourself, your actual, authentic self, is far more interesting than any performance could ever be. This doesn't mean you have to actively avoid birthday celebrations if they genuinely bring you joy. If you love cake, eat cake. If gathering friends makes you happy, gather them. But do it because it brings you authentic pleasure, not because you're supposed to, not because you need to prove something, not because you're performing significance for others. The difference between a genuine celebration and a performed one is subtle but crucial. One comes from fullness, the other from emptiness. One is an overflow of natural joy, the other is a desperate attempt to create meaning where you fear none exists. The person who treats their birthday like a normal day has discovered that they don't need special occasions to justify their joy or their existence. They've found that contentment doesn't come from external validation or annual rituals. It comes from being present to what is, right now, in this moment, that is always new, always fresh, always, if we're paying attention, miraculous. So if you're someone who lets their birthday pass without ceremony, know this: you're not broken, you're not depressed, you're not missing out. You've simply seen, through one of society's more persistent illusions, the illusion that significance is something you acquire through recognition, that worth is something you accumulate through achievements, that existence requires justification through annual celebration. You understand, perhaps without putting it into words, that you are not your age, your accomplishments, or your social significance. You are the awareness in which all these things appear and disappear. You are the consciousness that witnesses birthdays coming and going like clouds across the sky. And the sky doesn't celebrate itself. It simply is. Your indifference to birthdays is not a rejection of life. It's an embrace of something deeper than life's surface, celebrations. It's a recognition that every moment is equally extraordinary, equally worthy of attention, equally miraculous. So let your birthday pass like any other day. Let others blow out candles and make wishes. You've already discovered what they're wishing for: the ability to find significance not in special occasions, but in the ordinary miracle of being alive right now. That's not something you need a birthday to celebrate. That's something you're celebrating by simply being present in this moment to the impossible fact of your existence. And if that's not worth a party, what is? Except that you don't need the party. You never did. You were always the celebration itself. The question was never whether you should celebrate your birthday. The question was whether you could recognize that you are the birthday, the eternal moment of emergence, happening now and now and now again. Not once a year, but in every breath, every heartbeat, every moment of consciousness. You don't treat your birthday like a normal day because you don't value life. You do it because you've discovered that there are no normal days. Every day is a birth. Every moment is a beginning. Every breath is a gift that requires no special occasion to appreciate. That's not indifference. That's awakening. And if others don't understand, well, that's perfectly fine. They're still counting candles, measuring their worth by trips around the sun, performing significance for audiences that aren't really paying attention, but you've stopped counting. You've stopped performing. You've stopped looking for validation in arbitrary annual rituals. You've simply started living, not on special occasions, but always. And that, my friends, is the only birthday gift that actually matters. The recognition that you don't need your birthday to know you're alive. You already know. You can feel it right now, in this moment, that needs no celebration because it already is one. Happy Tuesday, or Thursday, or whatever day this is. They're all equally miraculous, equally ordinary, equally the day you were born into the eternal now. And that's something no birthday cake could ever capture.